Raymond Calhoun has served 10 years of his 20-year plea deal sentence. He groomed and essayed his own children but believes he deserves parole. Let's take a look.
Our first case is Mr. Raymond Calhoun. Is that correct? Are you Mr. Calhoun?
Yes, sir.
We're going to give you a chance to state to us why you feel like that you're deserving of a parole. And then after you get through, we'll go to your supporters that will be Zooming in. I don't know where Kimberly is, if that's a Zoom call or whatever. But anyway, we'll have Christopher Lecce, Michael Calhoun, and Kimberly Bigner. And then we will turn to the opposition, and we'll have three speakers and an assistant district attorney that will be speaking in opposition. And they are here at headquarters, except for the assistant district attorney who will be Zooming. Then the board will ask questions, then the board will vote. And that's how the process goes. You got any questions about that?
No, sir.
Okay, now's your chance, Mr. Calhoun, to tell us why you feel like you're deserving of a parole.
But first of all, over the 10 years of my incarceration, I'm not the same person that I used to be 10 years ago. I know I did a horrible crime, and once I came to Hunts, I involved myself as much as I can in the classes that they provide. First, I started enrolling in the sex offender class, risk management, which I completed all four phases. Once I finished that, I enrolled into the VOTEC class, which I have two certifications through Baton Rouge Community College in air conditioner and refrigeration. And NCCR, I have a certification through air conditioner refrigeration. I involved myself into the Christian community. I became a Christian in 2019. I joined the Catholic Church. I involved myself into the Catholic community. After that, I started taking all my self-help classes. I took pre-release. I took anger, living in balance, and then I'm involved with the Veterans Mentor Leadership Program that's housed here. I've been with that program for 6 years. Through that program, I learned I took several classes, including anger management, leadership skills, communication skills, relapse recovery, addiction recovery. And also through that program, I involved myself in community service through sandbagging at this facility for upcoming for the hurricanes. I get involved myself in as much as I can to better myself. And the one class that I took was most important to me is I took victim impact. I mean, what I learned in that class is my crime, what my crime did impacted my victims' family, not just emotionally, but physically, financially, and spiritually. And what I've done, I'm deeply remorse. And if I had the chance to be paroled, I would better myself in that community, continue to better myself in society, because I am not that person that I used to be 10 years ago. And I'm a changed person, sir. So thank you.
Okay, thank you for those words. We appreciate it. Now we'll move on to Mr. Christopher Lecce. Christopher, would you say your last name for me, please? Christopher? You're on mute there. Try it again.
All right, there I go. I'm off. Yeah, my last name is pronounced Lease.
Okay. All right, Christopher, go ahead and tell us what you want to say.
All right, so I'm in favor.
Okay, I was gonna say before you get started, because we have so many speakers and we divide them up the amount of time. And so, if you would keep your remarks as succinct as possible.
Yes, sir. So I'm in favor of Mr. Calhoun getting released on parole. I didn't know Mr. Calhoun before he was incarcerated, but I know the man he is today. I met him at Elaine Hunt. I was incarcerated there for 10 years. And we were both involved heavily in the Catholic Community Music Association, and also the HVAC trades. If he's able to get released, and y'all grant him the opportunity for parole, I believe he'll have no trouble finding a job. I will assist him in that. I work in the refrigeration industry and have multiple contacts with different employers that can definitely facilitate in getting him a job. I'd like to see this man have a second chance. I believe in second chances, and I'm sure as Warden Hooper can attest to, second chances can be life changing, and I'm living proof of that. So I would like for Mr. Calhoun to be granted parole today, and I appreciate y'all for hearing his case today.
Okay.
That's all I got. Thank y'all.
Thank you for zooming in and saying that about your friend. Michael
Yes,
Calhoun. Sir. Michael Calhoun, you're next, please. Mr. Calhoun.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. First off, I want to tell y'all thank you for allowing me to speak on his behalf and giving him the opportunity to apply for parole. I appreciate that of y'all. Over the past 10 years, it's been pretty rough seeing him incarcerated. We've gone through as a family, a lot of stuff. Most recently, the loss of my father in May of this past year, in which it was tough, dealing with that loss without having him around with it to help deal with it. Over the past 10 years while he's been incarcerated, I've seen a change in him. He's become more active in the Catholic Church, or now he is in the Catholic Church. And he's done his classes and stuff, and visiting with him while he's been incarcerated, I can really tell a difference in him. Our mother is real sick right now as well too, so I'd like for him to be there if something was to happen to her. She's currently in a nursing home, and she's not able to visit him or see him or even speak to him right now. So it'd be really nice. I think he's a changed individual, to have him back in society, to be productive and to right the wrongs of his past. I think he's paid his debt to society. I think he's done everything that they've asked him to do while he's been incarcerated. So that's really all I got to say. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on his behalf.
Okay, Michael, thank you for zooming in and saying that about your brother. I'm sorry about your father and your mother.
Thank you, sir.
There. Kimberly Bigner.
Yes, thank you. Yes. Thank you guys for allowing me to speak. I just want to say I have known Raymond since 2006, prior to any of these troubles that he had. And just keeping in touch with him throughout his incarceration, I can say that he is definitely a better person, and he has learned from his mistakes and understands the severity of what he did and has really done what he can to do better. And I do feel that he would be great to, be released and be able to have a second chance, and be a productive member of society.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Kimberly, for talking to the board, and we'll take your comments into consideration when we get ready to vote. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on now to the those in opposition, and the ones in opposition that will be speaking that are here at headquarters. The first is Bailey Palmer. Would you like to speak first? Would that be okay with you? Okay, Bailey Palmer in opposition. Yes, ma'am, that'd be fine.
Mr. Raymond Calhoun, from the ages of 9 to 11, decided to anally rape me on a frequent basis, vaginally rape me on a frequent basis. Due to the vaginal rape, I now have a condition called endometriosis, which is scar tissue that grows all over my uterus. Everyone is saying that he deserves a second chance, and I don't believe that. I don't get a second chance at my innocence. I don't get a second chance at me not having nightmares when I sleep. I fight so bad in my sleep that it scares me. I wake up screaming because whenever I was asleep, I was not safe from Raymond Calhoun touching me. I would wake up to him raping me frequently. Mr. Raymond Calhoun forced alcohol down my throat, forced me to do drugs on occasion. I am 21 and it has been 10 years since he has last touched me, and I still remember it vividly. Every time I close my eyes, I get to see that all over again. My innocence being taken from me. I do not believe he deserves the role. I don't get a second chance at that. I don't get a second chance at my university. And I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you for appearing before us. I know that's very difficult and we appreciate it. Appreciate you being here. Okay, Miss Garrett Palmer, Mr. Garrett Palmer. Yes. Yes.
He hasn't actually witnessed that I can see right now. So I do feel that there are a lot of underlying issues, and she needs not to be Palestinian raped as a child. There was a text that I can get a lot of negotiating, even if he has learned about recently, let's say, really so more time. And jail was something that was that he would actually be able to smell learning from all his mistakes and so much.
Thank you. I know it's difficult being here, like I told your sister, and anyway, thank you for your words. We take them very seriously, and we're sorry for anything that's occurred. Okay, Miss Layla Thompson, mother, would you speak to us, please?
Thank you all for allowing us to speak on this. I did know Raymond before all of this happened, and I can tell you that everyone who ever met him thought that he was a great, wonderful person. And I do believe that he has that same guise on the account, that he is making these people believe that he has changed and that he can do great in the world. I don't believe it for a second. We thought he was great, and he still did these things. Anyone I believe that can do this to a child, I'm talking a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old child. My son is high function autistic. It took the plea bargain for 20 years. This man should be serving life in prison for his crimes that he committed. 20 years is nothing compared to the lifetime of hurt and pain that my family is going through, our children especially. He can lie like no other. He made me believe that my children were safe with him, and I have another child with this man. Every day, we live this. Every day. And I believe 20 years, he can do that. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We appreciate that very much. Okay, we have the Assistant District Attorney, 21st JDC, Matthew Belser. Is Matthew on the line?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, yes, sir.
Thank you, members of the panel. Like I said, my name is Matthew Belser. I was the prosecutor who handled the case against Mr. Calhoun. I've been a child abuse prosecutor for 14 years now, and Mr. Calhoun's case is one of those that has always stood out to me. I know he speaks about being his faith, his Catholic faith, But one of the things that stands out to me in his comments is he makes no mention of any kind of penance. And sometimes, as a minister myself, I'm all for second chances. I do believe people can change, but I have not heard that in Mr. Calhoun's words. And sometimes the harm that has been done is too great to overcome that. And part of the penance that someone has to deal with is accepting those natural and legal consequences to their crime. As Bailey and Garrett both kind of mentioned in their statements, and I just want to say I'm very proud of them to see them have the strength to stand up. But they don't get a second chance at their childhood. That's what I'm talking about when I say that sometimes the harm is too great. And what about the help for the victims? Most of what he spoke about was his help for himself, self-help, but nothing about them. The thing that has stood out to me with Mr. Calhoun's crime is when you look at the facts of his case, the grooming process that occurred escalated very quickly from just from a inappropriate touching to full-blown intercourse. That happened very quickly. That was always something that stood out to me. The fact that his victims were of opposite sexes, that has always stood out to me. In addition, the manipulation that he did, because you not only saw grooming of the kids themselves, but grooming of the family and others there that were involved. And all of those things are warning signs that we pay attention to when it comes to prosecution and dealing with these kinds of crimes. All of these are warning signs to me and red flags saying this man is a predator and the state opposes his parole.
Thank you very much and appreciate those words. We'll take them into consideration also. For purposes of the record, Tamika White and Michelle Sparks are also in opposition, as is Ethan Cockerham, who is here with us today, although they're not going to speak. Okay, before we have our questions, and I should have done this probably after Mr. Calhoun originally spoke, but Warden, we're very interested in his behavior. I know you can't speak of the crime or what he did before he got there, but how is his behavior and attitudes and all that you and your staff have reflected on there?
Basically, like you said, he has 0 disciplinary reports since he's been here, and he is a mentor in the INVEST program. Other than that, we have nothing else to add.
Thank you, Warden. We appreciate it. We appreciate that very much. This case, although we all study them very, very diligently, all three of us, one of us leads in the questioning and votes first. In this particular case, it's me that votes. Mr. Calhoun, I appreciate all that you've done. I appreciate the fact that you've gotten close to the Lord and working so diligently with the Catholic Church and all the programming that you've been through. I've heard from the supporters, I've heard from the victim, I've read your file, and I've heard from you and the warden. So I really don't have any questions. I'll turn to my board. Do y'all have any questions? Mr. Balron, you got any questions? Do you have any questions?
No, I'm just glad that we were able to hear from all the victims and the other side of the story concerning this, because that was very important too.
Okay, it's my turn to vote, and Mr. Calhoun, I know you're working hard and all of that, and I think you need to continue working hard. I think because of the seriousness of this case, because of the victim opposition, because of law enforcement, Attorney General, and the DA being opposed to it, I think only serving half of your sentence on such an egregious crime is not appropriate. My vote is that you be denied parole. Ms. Stapleton?
I agree with Mr. Prater. You made a plea bargain for 20 years versus the life that you would have gotten had it been charged. So you got a break on this. So my vote is to deny.
And I vote to deny for the same reasons as my colleague.
Okay, that concludes this hearing. It's 9:23 in the morning in this hearing.
Should this animal ever be free? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing. I'd appreciate it. Until next time, folks.